Hello, personal finance class. Welcome back. This is Unit 3, titled Spending Money. Now, we've already talked about saving money, investing money, donating money. And this is kind of usually everyone's favorite part, spending money. We're going to talk about how we're spending our money because we want to make sure that we're not spending more money than we actually bring in, because that's actually a huge issue with today's consumers. Is everybody just wants everything and they want it right now. Weird that's today's generation's kind of philosophy, that they gotta have it and they gotta have it now. But do they have the money for it? And even if they don't, then they put it on credit cards or take out a loan and then end up getting themselves into some big financial trouble. And actually, Dave Ramsey tells us that the United States actually has a negative 6% savings rate. So that means people are spending more than they're even holding on to. They're spending more money than they even have, and they're just digging themselves into debt more and more. So we're going to talk about proper ways to spend money. How do we save money? How do we when we do want to make a purchase, should we finance it? Should we put our savings towards it? Or how should we go about doing that? We're also going to discuss different costs that we will be experiencing in life. We already kind of mentioned fixed costs and flexible costs or expenses. We're going to go into a little more detail about each of those and what areas of our budget we can cut back in. Okay, so let's get started. First, we're going to look at fixed expenses. So we mentioned this type of expense before. We said it was an expense that we can count on having month to month, and the cost is going to stay the same from month to month. So when we're looking at our budget and we're trying to decide where to allocate or assign our dollars to, we know that we can count on our rent maybe being the same amount every month, our gym membership being the same every month, and our car insurance being the same every month. So those should not be surprises to you when we're looking at our budget and those expenses come up every month. You should anticipate those coming. Okay, then we have variable, flexible expenses. So that you'll hear me use variable and flexible. They're very interchangeable terms, and we'll go back and forth. They're the same thing. So variable expense is expense that can change from month to month or vary, hence variable. Also flexible, it changes from month to month. So those are usually expenses, money spent on food, dining out, money spent on entertainment, clothing. Those are all variable expenses. You might spend more one month than the next on clothing. Maybe you just went school shopping and bought some new clothes for online school. Woohoo! And chances are you probably won't spend that same amount every month. Okay, so then we have what's called a fixed variable expense. So it's basically these two expenses put together. So a fixed variable expense is a cost that you pay every month, but the amount can change from month to month. So this is a cost you can plan on having. It's fixed. It's going to be there every month, but it's variable in terms that it can fluctuate. The amount of that can fluctuate. So this would be our electric bill, our water bill, utility bill. Those are all expenses that you know you're going to have every month, but based on the amount of electricity you're using that month or the water you're using that month, those amounts will fluctuate or vary, hence fixed because it's going to be there, variable because it changes. These cannot be avoided expenses, but they can be controlled. Whereas our variable, flexible expenses, those can be avoided. If you really had to save some money, you could probably go without buying clothes that month. Or instead of going to the movies, you could stay in and watch a movie at home. Those types of variable expenses are ones that we could eliminate if we had to. But fixed variable, we know we have to pay them. They're just going to fluctuate from month to month. Okay, so we said that you're going to have those costs, but you can control them. Let's look at different ways that we can control those fixed variable costs or expenses. You could adjust the thermostat in the house. So you could use a fireplace. If it's winter time, you could put on more layers and keep the heat lower. Determine off-peak hours at an electric company. So if you're doing, maybe you only do your laundry if they're off-peak hours with the electric company, that means they'll charge you the rates a little less for using electricity at that time. When you're purchasing groceries, this is a big one that we could save. We could all save money when we're grocery shopping. Always, always, always make a list of what you need. Not about what you want, but what you need. Eat before you shop. Those of you that have gone grocery shopping with a parent or by yourself, you probably know that if you go on an empty stomach, everything looks good. And so then everything just starts kind of piling into your cart and you're like, oh, yes, I do need these cookies this time, when it wasn't even on your list. So make a list, stick to it, and eat before you go. Shop for sales. Look for coupons. My husband and I, we usually do our grocery shopping on Wednesdays because there's always a good meat. There's a meat sale on Wednesdays. So, and we know that, so we go shopping on Wednesdays. Don't give in to that impulse purchasing. So all those things that line the aisles and you're like, they just kind of catch your eye as you're passing by. They're strategically placed there so that you notice them and you're like, oh, I do need some new razors, or I do need a pack of M&Ms, okay? Don't fall into those things. Don't give in. Add it up as you go. This is something that we started doing. It's just like a grocery calculator. So we set a budget. We spend $100 a week on groceries. And actually, we've been spending about $80 lately. But we added up our groceries as we go. And once we hit that $80 mark, we're done. We're done spending. So either if we're not done with our list, maybe we have to kind of cut some things out that we don't need that week in order to get some stuff that we do need. So that's a great suggestion that I have for you, is add it up as you go. Another one that your text suggests is watch for the scanner error rates. This is particularly important when you're buying items on sale. Sometimes they might be marked one thing and then they ring up as something else. Always double check those things because there are 5 to 6% error rates on scanners. So make sure you're getting the deal that you saw promoted. Okay, so for your first assignment in this unit is a discussion. So I just gave you some tips on controlling expenses with your thermostat and your grocery shopping. Now I want you to kind of find some other ones. So you can either use an internet search, talk with a friend or a relative, maybe your parents or your grandparents have some really good ideas on how to cut back or save some money, or just using some of your own prior knowledge. But you need to list at least 5 different ways someone can save money or control a fixed variable expense. So again, expenses that you need to have every month, but that can fluctuate. How can you control those expenses? Give me some tips. Actually, give everybody some tips. That's why there's a big discussion board so you can share your ideas with everybody. Okay, then there's a couple things in your text that I wanted to show you. Some good stuff in here. This is page 8 in your text, I believe. Yeah, page 8. This is a tutorial on financial situations, so it's going to kind of walk you through and pretend that you are the financial advisor, and it's going to give you several different scenarios for different families, and then they're going to ask you questions on what that family can do to better their financial situation. So walk yourself through this tutorial. It's really good information, and it'll be good practice for you to figure out what you can do to cut back on some things. Here are a bunch of articles about financial issues and scenarios. So again, kind of like different situations about families and how they got into those financial issues and suggestions for them to get out of this, or how they got out of those issues. How to tighter times call for tight purse strings, so how to kind of tighten up your budget. How to make your own budget fun. There's lots of articles on budgeting, so definitely check those out. Websites on like good templates for budgeting. Lots of good stuff on this page, so be sure to check out these links and find that information. And then finally on the next page, page 10, This is an avatar going over buying a house. So a gentleman will talk to you about he's going through his first home buying experience. So listen to him, and you're going to be giving him some advice. You don't, I think, yeah, you don't need to do this journal with it, okay? But I do want you to watch the avatar and go through and think about what this guy should be doing in order to save up for a down payment. So check out those pages from the text, and just to give yourself some more information. Okay, continuing with fixed expenses. Financial emergencies. What is a financial emergency? A financial emergency is when you have those unexpected either medical bills, unexpected car repair, unexpected home repair that kind of just come up, and these happen to everybody. What a financial emergency is not, it's not pizza money, it's not money for a video game, it's not money for a movie that all your friends are going to, okay? A financial emergency is an unexpected expense that you need to pay for. These you don't need to pay for. You don't need to get pizza. There's food at home. Go make yourself a sandwich. You don't need that video game, all right? But you do, if you fall and break your leg, you do need to pay for those medical bills. Or if your car breaks down, you need to fix your car so that you can get to work, and so on. Okay, for these financial emergencies, you must prepare in advance because they are going to happen. Okay, Dave Ramsey and your text suggests having 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in savings, specifically for emergencies. So that way, if you were to lose your job, you're financially secure for 3 to 6 months while you find a new one. Okay, so when we say 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, you're looking at your budget and you find how much you're spending in all of your expenses each month. Take that times 6, and that's how much you should have in savings. So for the average family, it's usually $10,000 to $15,000 that you should have in an emergency fund in your bank. Okay, so that's 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Some other ways to help with a financial emergency, you might want to pay extra for a better health plan because most financial emergencies that people have are unexpected medical issues. So a lot of people cringe when they have to pay that health insurance bill every month or that premium, but it's a lot better than having to pay thousands and thousands of dollars in medical expenses if something were to happen. Getting yourself out of debt after a financial emergency can be extremely difficult and take years to pay off. That's why it is so important to have this money set aside in case of emergencies. Okay, so in these last 2 minutes, I'm going to go over this interview assignment that you have coming up. So for this assignment, based on what you've learned in this unit, interview one person, could be a friend, a relative, whoever, and ask about their experience with a financial emergency. Some questions you could ask would be, what caused the financial emergency? Were they prepared for it? Did they have money put aside? Is this event still affecting them? Are they still having to pay for it? How many years has it been going on? And what did they do to help prevent a financial problem from occurring in the future? Did they learn from this emergency so that they're prepared for the next time? You need to ask a total of 7 to 10 questions. And I do have a template available in doc sharing for this. Okay, so here's the template. It needs to be written like a paper. You need an introduction telling me who you chose to interview and why, and what their financial emergency is. Then this is the body of your paper is your questions and answers. So when you write the response, you should be talking from their point of view. So in your words, Mrs. Jones's financial emergency began when her car broke down. She did not have money set aside for repairs, so she covered the payment with several credit cards. That's how you should be responding in this paper. So again, this template is available in doc sharing. Make sure you get that from the doc sharing tab in the classroom. Okay, that is it for the first section. So pretty quick and easy. Make sure you check out those articles that I showed you within the text and those video tutorials. All that's really great information and will help you with this quiz. So once you finish those, go ahead and take the quiz.